Jackson Holt. At second will be Tannen Wynn, and first will be Dylan Fowler. And then in the outfield, from left to right, Ethan Foster in left, Atlee Jones in center, and Tate Wynn will be in right field. So pretty good defensive set here with Cage Korenick on the mound again, who has been our ace all year.
And I think we're about to do the national anthem, so we'll pause for a little bit and do the national anthem.
With the playing of our national anthem.
All right, we are back getting ready for first pitch. So, Coach, you've got to watch this team a little bit. I know you've been able to come catch some games. Talk to me about the difference between this team and last year's team.
To me, it's very similar pitching-wise and defensive-wise. This team is very good off the mound and defensively, too. I expect that China Springs is going to be pretty tough tonight offensively from everything I've read and heard. That's going to be the key to me to this game. Can we hit with these guys? We know we can pitch and we know we can play defense. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
So I know last week, I don't know if you got to experience the game last week or just listen, but man, last week on game one, they played probably one of the best pitchers they faced all year, especially velocity-wise. And so I know he was humming it in there, kept hitting lower 90s, 90, maybe up to 94. And I remember Ty Rigsby came out and hit a double right down the line, and they made some more good contact in that first inning. And I really felt like that played into that series, like, hey, we can hit with anybody. And so I know they've had a few games where they've had slow starts hitting, and they've got out to really slow starts. Thankfully, the defense is very, very top-notch, and they've really played a clean district, which I think led to their 10-0 record. But I'm really hoping to see a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, we're about to be underway here as Cage Korenick toes the rubber. Leading off for China Springs will be their catcher, Grayson Brooks. Korenick kicks and deals. Here's the first pitch of the game, and that's in there for a called strike. Korenick, if I remember correctly, works very fast.
He does.
He's looking in. He's got a sign that he likes. And here's the pitch. Just missed outside, and it's evens the count at 1-1. Of course, Korenick is a lefty. As he looks over his glove, here's the pitch. Breaking ball, that just missed too. And the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike.
So Brooks, a right-handed batter in there.
Here's the 2-1 pitch, swung on and fouled back, evens the count at 2-2. China Spring wearing baby blue from head to toe. And Bullard is in their dark blues on top with the white pants. Here is the pitch, swung on, that is fouled down the first baseline. Out of play. And the count remains 2-2. Pause here for a minute as we run down this foul ball, which made it all the way to the wall.
Yeah.
All right, Korinek now back on the mound. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Nice way to start the ball game there.
Man, you got to love that, especially Cage. He's throws a lot of strikes and usually gets soft contact. So he's starting to strike out. Great.
Yeah, he's definitely going to pound the strike zone. That's going to bring up number 35 for China Spring, their first baseman, Dean Hanna, batting from the right side. Here's the pitch from Korinek, just outside.
Good pitch. I like that pitch.
Yep. It's a tough one to lay off. Here's the pitch, and that misses low, and Korinek falls behind here at 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's in there for a called strike, as Korinek threw a breaking ball there. 2-0. Makes the count 2 balls, 1 strike. And here's the pitch. That catches the outside corner. Looked very similar to that first pitch.
Yes,
Saw the
it did.
ball. Evens the count at 2-2. Here's the pitch. Swung on, that's lifted out into left field.
Foster has a chance. Oh,
He's
that's
looking
gone.
up, and that's gone. That ball just kept carrying. Just left of the 355 sign, and China Spring strikes first here with a solo home run by Hanna.
You know, there was this very similar situation in Huntsville last week where Cage just came in, got a first out, clean first batter, but then hung one up just like that. And that guy doubled, and this one hit a home run.
That was a little off the bat. It looked more like a kind of a line shot, but it just kept carrying.
I did hear China Springs can hit, so
That's going to bring up their number 3 hitter, number 5, the center fielder, Dylan Bowers. Again, as China Spring now leads this game 1-0. Here's the pitch. That's in there for a called strike.
I've been real impressed with Cage. Just his head strong. Nothing bothers him.
No, he's pretty even keeled. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that's fouled back, and it's quickly 0-2. You know, I had the privilege.
Can take a little bit to get used to these umpires.
Here's the 2-2 pitch, swung on, and that's popped up out of play, and the count will remain 2-2. Cage, Korinek gets him a new ball here. He's about to throw his 17th pitch of the game. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, a tapper back up the middle, and that's going to find center field as it kind of high hopped over Korinek. Wasn't hit that hard, but it was just very well placed. And Bowers has a single here.
Man, Cage almost had that. He jumped up and just slipped, I think, over the tip of his glove, and Holt couldn't get there.
It's one of those turf singles
Yes.
that you see. Playing on grass, that's probably just a tapper back to the mound. That's going to bring up Jackson Fetters, their cleanup hitter. First pitch to him misses for ball 1. Korinek now pitching for the first time out of the stretch as Bowers takes his lead over at first. Here's the pitch. That is a ground ball out to second. Wynn has it over to second for 1 to first, not in time, as Holt actually decided to hold that ball late. Started to go into his throwing motion and then thought better of it. Fowler over at first asking why he didn't throw it. He thought they had a chance at him.
Yeah, I mean, he was smooth. It would have been close, but yeah, I would have thrown it, but maybe he just didn't have a good grip and didn't want to caramel it.
Fowler seemed puzzled as to why he didn't. Anyway, so we just swapped runners at first. Here now there's 2 outs. And that brings up Hudson Brown, the right fielder. First pitch to him misses outside for ball 1. Feathers takes a small lead over at first. Here's the pitch. That just misses outside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's in there for a called strike. Ump had to think about that one for a second.
That's pretty delayed there.
Anyway, it's 2 balls, 1 strike. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Again, China Spring is up 1-0. Here's the pitch. That's on the outside corner for a called strike. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes here with 2 outs. Kalinick looking in for a sign, has one he likes. He sets, checks the runner at first, and here's the pitch. Just missed the outside corner. I don't want to call anything too early with the hesitation this umpire has given us so far, but that was a close pitch there. Count runs full.
He's barely missing.
And here's the pitch. That's swung on a tapper over to Fowler at first. He has it, jogs to the bag, and has it there for the 3rd out, and that's going to do it here for China Spring in the top half of the first as they take an early lead 1-0 on the home run by Dean Hanna.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, we're back, Panther fans. Coach Casey in the box with me, and he's got their setup for this game.
All right, we'll look at China Spring here defensively. Pitching for China Spring is Jacob Hinojosa. Behind the plate is Grayson Brooks. Over at third is Will Hafferkamp. At short is Garrett Maddox. Second, Jackson Fetters. Over at first is Dean Hanna, who had the home run there in the top of. As we're ready to go, leading off for your Panthers is Ty Rigsby. First pitch to him is in there for a called strike. Rigsby batting from the left side. Again, your Panthers in the dark blue jerseys with the white bottoms. Looks really good. Second pitch to him is fouled back, and it's quickly 0-2.
Now, quick note, this pitcher for China Springs is a freshman. So, this, how do you say his last name?
What kind of confidence they have in this guy. Starting him off in this series. The 0-2 pitch to Rigsby is outside for ball 1. Rigsby set up in the back of the box. And here's the pitch from Hinojosa, and that is fouled back. And the count will remain 1-2.
Good fight-off pitch there.
In the outfield for China Spring is Clement in left, Bowers in center, and Brown in right. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that is low and inside. Evens the count at 2-2.
you know, I've seen Rigsby get down in the count, and he's been able to bounce back and either draw a walk or get a hit. So he's a tough two-strike batter.
Definitely working Hinojosa here. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that's inside, and the count runs full.
Almost got him.
As Rigsby is being a good leadoff hitter here and making the pitcher throw lots of pitches here. Here's the full count pitch, and that is swung on and drilled just foul down the first base line.
Trying to look like he duplicate what he did against Huffman Hargrave with that leadoff double to start the series.
Yeah, he could have found the inside of that chalk down there. That definitely would have been at least a double. So the count remains full as we wait on that foul ball to be run down. Now Hinojosa has a new ball. He's back on the rubber. And here's the full count pitch. And that misses inside. And Ty Rigsby with a leadoff walk here to get the Panthers started.
I'm telling you, I think he leads the team in walks, and because he's just been such a great leadoff hitter for the Panthers this year.
That's what you want. A guy who's very patient and will get on any way possible. Let's go. Bring up the left fielder, number 7, Ethan Foster. Foster also batting from the left side. So we have that righty on lefty matchup as he steps into the box.
Third baseman's in for the bunt.
Hinojosa working out of the stretch. Checks Rigsby at first. Kicks in, deals. And Foster was bunting there. He showed bunt and offered at it and missed. And it's no balls, 1 strike.
I think he took his eyes off of that and started running to first.
That definitely looked like a drag bunt, yeah. Not a sacrifice. Throw over to first as Rigsby dives back in safely.
Good quick move there for Hinojosa.
And that's also part of being a good leadoff man. You know, making the pitcher worry about you over there at first. Take his mind off this hitter a little bit. Foster showing bunt again, and he bunts that one foul, as that was definitely a sacrifice attempt. The third baseman, Hafferkamp, was charging.
I think he's going to back up now.
So no balls, 2 strikes. Rigsby takes his lead, 1 foot on the grass. Quick throw over to first, again not in time, as Rigsby dives back in.
I will say the Panthers have hit into a number of double plays here, so hopefully that's not the case here.
Let's see if Foster can battle back here, down 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and that's swung on the foul back. And the count remains 0-2. I love Foster's batting helmet, the red, white, and blue.
Yes. He's the kid that came over from Rusk and been a great addition to the Panthers this year.
Hinojosa started to go into a stretch and steps off the back of the rubber. Wipes his face and steps back on. Now in the stretch, checks Rigsby over at first. And here's the pitch, and that's swung a little tapper out to third base. He's going to throw to second, and the umpire's going to say that was in time, because that was a really close play at second, because that was a really high chopper hit off the dirt that Hafferkamp had to wait on there.
Yeah, there was no chance for a double play with how high that ball went, but I thought they weren't going to get Rigsby.
Yeah, I thought the smart play there was to throw to first, but he threw to second and just beat Rigsby by half a step, right? You know, it was a really close play. That's going to bring up first baseman Dylan Fowler.
He hit well in the last series.
Foster now at first takes his lead. Here's the pitch to Fowler. That just misses outside.
Fowler has just been a great leader for the Panthers. He's a senior captain.
Hinojosa sets at the belt. Here's the pitch, and that misses high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes here with 1 out in the bottom of the first. Again, your Panthers are trailing this one already 1-0 on a China Springs solo homer.
He's being very careful with Fowler, not really giving him anything.
A quick throw over to first. Foster dives back in there safely. Fowler had stepped out of the box, looked down to Coach Sherman for the sign. He has one. Steps back in the box. Another throw over to first.
Pretty interesting because Foster doesn't really have much of a lead there.
Again, Bullard base runners making him think about him anyway. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that misses low. And Fowler's way ahead in the count now at 3-0. And that's what sometimes being kind of a pesky base runner there can do to the pitcher. Gets his mind focused more on the runner than the guy at the plate. Here's the 3-0 pitch.
That's high.
And that's high, and he walked him. And that's going to be runners at first and second here for your Panthers. And it's going to bring up the cleanup hitter, the pitcher, Cage Korinek.
So mound visit for China Springs, and I'm telling you, like, Rigsby and Fowler have just been, use the word pesky. They have been so disciplined at the plate, and these Panthers, I mean, top to bottom, they make the pitcher work, and they've been very patient, and they look for their pitch. They don't swing. They don't give freebies to the pitchers many times.
That's a good formula. You know, make them work, make them throw a lot of pitches, make them put themselves out of the game on a pitch count. You know,
oh, for sure. You know, that was huge last week because, you know, the guy who could throw it and sling it, he ended up 105 pitches going into the 5th inning, and you're just like, he's done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, those are excellent bats.
13, Cage Korinek.
Let's see what Cage can do here with runners on first and second here in the bottom of the first, and one out. Again, your Panthers trailing 1-0.
He's the RBI leader for the Panthers this year. Been huge.
Korinek batting from the left side. Here's the first pitch, and that's in there for a called strike.
Yeah.
Korinek took a fastball there.
Yeah. You wonder, like, was he taken all the way, because that was a pretty
pitch walk right in front of him. The 0-1 pitch is downstairs, and it evens the count at 1-1. You got Foster on second and Fowler standing at first. Both of them take their leads. Nobody holding Fowler at first. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is high and inside, and it's 2 balls and a strike. As again, these Panther hitters continue to be patient. And Foster's getting some pretty good care over there at second, as the shortstop is standing right behind him, not allowing him to get much of a lead. Here's a pitch that is grounded over on the right side. The first baseman has it, and he's going to beat Korinek to the bag for the second out, but both runners are going to move up. Now runners at second and third with 2 outs.
nothing you could do there for that first baseman. Like, there was no way he was going to make that turn, and so he got the out. So
yeah, he made the smart plays. That ball was hit pretty deep in the hole there. It's going to bring up the shortstop, Jackson Holt. A little single here could do some damage. Jackson batting from the right side. Hinojosa still pitching out of the stretch. First pitch to Holt is swung on and missed.
I think he was looking to do a little bit more than a single there.
The outfield has Holt played around the right side as the center fielder is planting over toward right. They're giving Holt a lot of left field line here. Actually, a lot of line on both sides as the right fielder is squeezed toward the middle too. The 0-1 pitch to Holt is high, and that evens the count at 1-1.
So looking for him to be a little late, push something in the right field, but he can also pull the ball pretty well.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that misses outside, and it's 2-1.
Be a huge RBI if Jackson can come through with this.
Hinojosa sets and deals. Here's the pitch, and that's swung on and fouled back. And that's going to even the count at 2-2.
It's been a great inning. They've pushed his pitch count up, but, you know, got a lot of stress pitches right now. We've got to capitalize on this.
Yep. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that's swung and missed. He struck him out. And that's going to do it for your Panthers here in the bottom of the first as they leave 2 on. We go to the second inning with your Panthers trailing this one 1-0.
Left fielder number 4, Jacob Clement.
All right, we're back, Panther fans.
And leading off for China Spring is Jacob Clement. First pitch to him is in there for a called strike. Again, Korenic working very quickly. And this one is grounded over to third. Grigsby is up with it, throws across in time, and there's one down. Nice play by Ty Rigsby there. And that's going to bring up the third baseman, Will Hafferkamp. First pitch to him is in there for a called strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch, swung on, that's a grounder up the middle, and that's going to find center field for a single.
Designated hitter number 9, Jackson Knapp.
That's going to bring up the designated hitter, Jackson Knapp, here batting with 1 out. Korenic pitching from the stretch. Here's the pitch, and that's in there for a called strike. Korenic sets and deals, and it's a pitch out. And there was nothing on from China Spring there. That evens the count at 1-1. Foul. Korenic with the new baseball, as Hafferkamp takes his lead over at first. And Korenic will throw that way. Chases Hafferkamp back. He did not have much of a lead. Here's the one. And that's tap foul. Out of play. And the count remains 1-2. Korenic sets. And here's the pitch. And that is a tapper foul down the first base line as he cued that one right off the end of the bat. And again, the count remains 1-2. Again, one out here, and China Spring with a runner at first. Here's the pitch, and that's a grounder to third. Rigsby's only play is to first, and it's not in time as Rigsby had to go deep behind the bag to field that. And Knapp was able to beat that out. So China Spring will have runners here at first and second.
Shortstop number 1, Garrett.
Again with
Maddox.
one out, as the shortstop, Garrett Maddox, now comes to the plate for China Spring. And the Panthers looking for a double play ball here. Here's the pitch, and that misses low and inside. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. Dylan Fowler over at first, playing in front of the grass, anticipating a bunt. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that is right down the middle for a called strike. Evens the count at 1-1. Knapp over at first, Haferkamp at second. Both take their leads. Here's the pitch from Korinek as Maddox showed bunt there and then pulled back, and it was a ball. So it's 2 balls and a strike.
All right, well, I know we're live on the live stream, so I don't know if you're listening to us on Panther Sportsnet. We may not be there, but I do know we're live on One Play, so they are live streaming this. Oh,
here's the pitch, and that's going to find left field for a single, and it was hit hard enough that that Haferkamp was not able to score. That's going to load the bases on that single, and that's going to bring up. It's going to turn the lineup over as the leadoff hitter, Grayson Brooks, is now going to come back to the plate.
I'm trying to get it down.
And we're going to have a mound visit here from Coach Sherman, as Korinek has given up 3 straight singles, and China Spring has loaded the bases here in the top of the second. Again, your Panthers are trailing this one 1-0 on a solo home run by Dean Hanna in the top of the first.
All right, well, Panther Sports, I think if you're on the live stream, they said we are back on, so that's good news. So we were on the live stream, so if you want to watch the game, you have to go. Wendy, what's that?
Catcher number 12,
on YouTube,
Grayson
what's the YouTube
Brooks.
channel? So you can listen to us and watch the game, or you can stay on the radio.
If you missed it, right now China Spring has bases loaded here in the top of the second with 1 out, as Korinek gave up 3 straight singles to their number 7, 8, 9 hitters. And we're now back at the top of the order. Grayson Brooks, who struck out in the first inning, takes the first pitch for a called strike.
Hype Sports, HYPE Sports, and they have our live stream on there, overlaying their us talking with the live video. So Hype Sports, so you can hop on there. But we're back at least in both places now.
The 0-1 pitch was down low, and that evens the count at 1-1. Korinek still working from the stretch here. Here's the pitch, and that is grounded to third. Ty Rigsby with a heck of a play, comes home, but he throws wide right. They had a chance to cut the runner off at the plate as Ty Rigsby made a diving stab to his right. Comes up throwing, but just throws wide and pulls Ackerman off of the plate. And China Spring has scored their second run of the ball game, and they still have the bases loaded. And that's going to bring up their first baseman, Dean Hanna, who homered in the first inning.
Man, I hate that he came off the bag, but that could have been a lot worse if he let that get by.
So here's the pitch to Hanna. First pitch is inside for a ball. The Panthers in dire need of a double play ball here. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Just missed outside, and it's 2-0. You know, that Rigsby might have had a chance to get 2 there if he steps up, if he jumps up, steps in the bag, and throws to first. But he probably made the smart play trying to cut the run at home. And just made an errant throw. The 2-0 pitch misses inside, and Korinek is in danger here of walking in a run. Again, the base is full of Cougars. Course, it is off the wall. 1 run is in, 2 runs are in, and they're going to hold up right there as Hanna now has a 2-run double to go along with his home.
Deficit they've had since
Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that is fouled straight back. Evens the count at 1-1. Great crowd here tonight, as we pretty much have a full house. Even the outfield bleachers are pretty full out there. And we need this crowd to bring us back now, as Korinek is now fighting down 4-0. One pitch is outside, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Korinek looks in for a sign he likes. He has one. Here's the pitch. That ball is swung on. That's hit pretty well to center field. Atlee Jones is back. He makes the catch, but that's going to be deep enough to score a run. And China Springs takes a 5-0 lead here in the top of the second.
And this has just been the half inning of bad breaks for the Panthers.
Jackson Fetters.
You know, outside the double, I mean, it's just been like walks or barely get on. And so here they are, backs against the wall.
And that's going to bring up Jackson Fetters, the 8th man to bat here in the top of the second. First pitch to him misses low. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's outside, and it's 2-0. As Dean Hanna takes his lead off of second, the only Cougar on the base pass now. This pitch is swung on and lifted, popped up behind first. Win is over. He calls off Fowler, and he makes the catch, and that's going to do it for the Cougars here in the top of the second, but not before they score 4 runs and take a 5-0 lead here early in this ball game. So we'll see if your Panthers can get something going here in the bottom of the second.
All right, we're coming back. Just kind of getting started. Panthers down 5-0. This kind of unfamiliar territory. If you've been with us since district started, Panthers have a deficit. But you know what? In that first inning, they were able to put together some good at-bats. So I'm here with Coach Casey on the call doing play-by-play tonight.
The first pitch is to the leadoff guy, Gage Alderman, is hit right back to the mound, and Hinojosa was able to field that and throw over to first in time. And there's quickly one out here. And that's going to bring up the right fielder, Tate Wynn.
Number 20, Tate Wynn.
You know, really got to get the bottom lineup. There's been a few games where they have got the game going, you know.
Here's the first pitch to Wynn, a breaking ball that catches the inside part of the plate. And Wynn is down in the count, no balls and a strike.
Tate Wynn, he's still only 14 years old, but he's played like a 18-year-old.
Here's the pitch, that's outside. Evens the count at 1-1.
Been real impressed with this kid, Coach.
Yeah, he's another one of those kids that I've had the privilege to coach most of these kids somewhere along the line, and he is just a competitive dude.
Yeah, they're great athletes, Coach.
That pitch misses outside. It's 2 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. That ball is grounded to short. Maddox is up with it. He pumps and throws across in time to get Wynn, and there are 2 outs. And that's going to bring up the center fielder, Atlee Jones.
Center fielder, number 4, Atlee Jones.
Unfortunately, this is the inning that you don't want to give their pitcher.
Yeah, quick, low pitch inning. First pitch to Jones. It's swung on, and that's a little flare hit out to second, but that's going to be capped high for the second baseman Fetters, and he makes the catch, and that's going to do it for your Panthers here as they do go quickly in the bottom of the second. So after 2 complete, your Panthers trail this one 5-0.
Apologize, everybody. I realized I did not hit the ad, so y'all were just listening to nothing. So, but it's better have the ads off instead of on while we're talking. So here we are, top of the 3rd inning.
And we're going to have Hudson Brown here leading off for Town of Spring. First pitch to him misses outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch, and that's a breaking ball in there for a called strike, and it's 1-1.
Cage really needs a quick inning just to help with that pitch count.
This pitch is fouled out of play, and it's 1-2.
So I know it's a long series, and you definitely want to save some guys for later in the series. So.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. That is lifted into center field. Jones takes a couple of steps back now coming in, and he catches it cap high for the first out. And that's going to bring up the left fielder, Jacob Clement.
Left fielder, number 4, Jacob Clement.
Pitch out.
Here's the pitch. That's in there for a called strike. That was Corinnic's 58th pitch of the game here in the top of the third. This pitch is swung on and lifted in foul territory, but it's going to be playable for Fowler, who's over, and he makes the catch, and there's 2 down.
You know, Coach, this is very similar to Game 3 of last year where China Springs jumped out early, kind of felt very defeating, but I remember that team didn't give up, and they came out, had a quick inning like this defensively, and next thing you know, their bats got going.
That's right, they started to climb back into that game. It's going to bring up Hefferkamp, who's going to take the first pitch in there for a called strike. Hefferkamp singled in his last at bat, last inning. This pitch is on the outside corner, and it's quickly 0-2.
I'd go.
Again. One ball, 2 strikes.
Corinnic has a tendency to do that, man. He gets stronger as the game goes along.
He's definitely kind of got that eye of the tiger now as he is standing there on the mound. Steps out of the box. Corinnic is not. As Hefferkamp stepped in, then called time and stepped back out. Corinnic never flinched. Here's the pitch. That ball is swung on and lifted into center field. Hit pretty well. Jones on the run. He's back, and it's off the wall. Jones plays it on one hop off the wall as Hefferkamp cruises into second with a double here with 2 outs in the top of the third.
Man, this team can hit. It's always bad news when your outfielder turns his back to the ball.
That's going to bring up the DH, Jackson Knapp. So Corinnic just needs to shake that one off. We got 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and that's fouled straight back. Right at us.
You didn't even flinch. But I heard you played college baseball, right?
I did, long time ago. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that is hit, just over Rigsby's glove into left field, and that's going to score a run here for China Spring as Knapp stretched that and dove headfirst into second and just traded places there.
I think they have him at second. I mean, the run scored, but Foster played that well. Came up, caught it, gunned it, and just it bounced right in front of Tannen and couldn't handle it to get the tag down.
So back-to-back doubles here, and that's going to bring up Garrett Maddox. First pitch to him is lined into right field. That's going to be a single. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to be cut off as Knapp is going to score, and China Spring has now added 2 more to their already big lead. It is now 7-0 China Spring here with 2 outs in the top of the third, as China Spring has scored 1 run in the first, 4 in the second, and now 2 in the third.
Looks like we got some movement in the bullpen over for the Panthers.
Knapp takes his lead at first. Corinnic kicks and deals. That misses outside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Maddox also batting from the right side. Corinnic sets. Here's the pitch, and that ball is grounded to short, and it's going to be misplayed by Holt. Holt tried to play that off his right side, and it just skipped over his glove, and that's going to be an error, but China Spring is going to have 2 runners on here with 2 outs. Runners at first and second.
Going to have to calm down because, you know, there's still a lot of baseball left, but you just don't want this to continue to decline.
That's going to bring up the leadoff hitter, Grayson Brooks, who's already batting for his 3rd time in this game. Here's the pitch. That's inside. I'm sorry, this is Dean Hanna. That was Grayson Brooks there. It just reached on the air.
Okay, Dean Hanna's the homer and double guy.
Here's the pitch. Misses inside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Again, 2 outs here in the top of the third. China Spring leading this one 7-0 and threatening for more. As Cage Korenick is about to throw his 72nd pitch of this game, and that ball is lifted into left field, but it's carrying. Jones at the wall, looking up, and that ball is gone. It got up in the jet stream. Off the bat, it looked like a pop-up, and it just kept going. That is a 3-run homer. Dean Hanna's 2nd home run of this game.
Sherman's heading to the mound.
And now China Spring leads this game 10-0 as they have jumped all over Cage Korenick here in the first 3 innings. Coach Sherman going out.
Takes the ball.
We'll make a pitching change here.
Looks like Evan Downing coming in.
So we'll stay on the air, or we're going to go to commercial here.
Yeah, we'll take some commercial, but Evan Downing comes in 10-0. Just not Korenick's night tonight.
Not Korenick's night, and the Panthers have a large hill to climb from this point.
But still a lot of baseball.
A lot of baseball left.
All right, we'll take a break.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching for Bullard, number 26, Evan Downing.
All right. We're back. Panthers down 10-0 here, still in the 3rd inning. Cage Korenick went 2 2/3 inning, and he's done. So, Coach, talk to me.
Just a tough night for Korenick as Dean Hanna and these China Spring Cougars have jumped all over him. Dean Hanna with 2 homers and a double. Again, your Panthers trading this one 10-0, and Evan Downing now pitching for the Panthers. First pitch to Bowers is a called strike. Second pitch is fouled out of play, and Downing is quickly ahead here, 0-2. Base is clear here after that 3-run homer. This pitch is grounded over on the left side. Rigsby cuts it off, throws across, a little high, but Fowler's able to leap up and make that play and come down on the bag, and that's going to do it for China Spring here in the 3rd, but not before they score 5 runs and make this a very tough night on your Bullard Panthers as they now trail this one 10-0 heading into the bottom of the 3rd.
Coach, I know we just took a little break. I want to ask you this question, and then we'll hop on, but you're Sherman. What are you telling your boys over there right now?
Right now, you just have to take it one bat at a time. You have to come up and you just have to battle, and you just have to find a way to get base runners. That's what it's all about. It's that old chip away theory, and you can't. The odds of you coming in and scoring 10 runs in an inning aren't good. So, what the Panthers need to do here is focus on manufacturing a run or two. Get a little confidence, get a little momentum back, and see if they can't get this thing pushed in the right direction.
There's a new catcher, so we'll come back. We'll take a little break, and we'll come back and let you know who's playing.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Now catching for China Spring, number 8, David Bell.
All right, Panther fans, we're back. We do have a new catcher for China Springs. Bell is in. And so still the same pitcher on the mound.
Tanner Wynn's going to lead things off here for the Panthers. First pitch to him misses outside. And it's 1 ball, no strikes.
His first at bat tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately. This pitch is inside. And Wynn's ahead. 2 balls, no strikes. Again, the Panthers just need to find a way to get base runners. You get base runners and good things can happen. Here's the 2-0. This ball is grounded over to third. Hafferkamp is up with it, throws across in time, and there's 1 out. And that's going to finally turn the lineup over for the Panthers as Ty Rigsby will now be your batter.
And Coach, no matter what happens, I mean, this is a 3-game series, not a 1-game series. You got to put some pitches on this guy because you don't want him to come back and be available.
Very good point. You know, that's you think about last year. The Panthers went over there and shut those guys out over at their place, and were riding high, and then came back and dropped the next 2. So it's just 1 game. As the first pitch to Rigsby is a strike. No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. That misses downstairs and evens the count at 1-1.
You know, Rigsby went down 0-2 in the first at bat, and then he was able to battle back and get a walk.
This pitch is a little bit high, and it's 2-1 as Rigsby took a close pitch there. Again, just battle. Find your way on. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That is grounded to short. Maddox makes a play on it. Comes up, throws across. In, not in time. As Rigsby beat that out. He kind of took a tough hop there on Maddox, and he had to kind of.
He didn't realize he dropped it or something, and so, like you said, had to reset his feet. And Rigsby can run.
Bring up the left fielder, Ethan Foster. Throw over to first.
Ooh.
Close play, but first base umpire says Rigsby is safe. As I'm guessing Rigsby has seen his best move now, first.
Yes.
Hinojosa sets. Here's the pitch. Swung on a miss. And Foster's down in the count here, 0-1.
Foster was 0-1.
Another throw over to first.
He had that fielder's choice that almost beat out, but they got Rigsby barely got beat at second.
Another throw as Rigsby has Hinojosa's full attention here. With a 10-run lead, and it's strange to be paying so much attention to a runner at first. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that is inside, and it's 1-1.
I don't know how that missed him. It was like he rotated his hip with the ball and barely missed him.
Rigsby takes his lead at first. Here's the pitch. That ball is swung on and fouled back. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ethan Foster. If you're just joining us, your Panthers are trailing this one 10-0 as China Spring has jumped all over Bullard here. Scored 10 runs in the first 3 innings. Bullard trying to fight their way back here and scratch something out. This pitch is lifted foul down the third base side and out of play. And the count remains 1-2. Hinojosa, still with a low pitch count, is about to make his 43rd pitch of this game. And like you said, the Panthers, if nothing else, they just need to battle and get his pitch count up. This pitch is swung on a miss, and Foster goes down with a strikeout here, and there's 2 outs. And that's going to bring up the first baseman, Dylan Fowler.
First baseman, number 15, Dylan Fowler.
You know, Fowler was part of that team that made that comeback. And so, he's a leader. He's the captain for a reason.
Rigsby at first. Takes the lead. Here's the pitch to Fowler, and that ball is swung on, lifted into left field. That's hit pretty well. Clement is back. He's looking up. It's gone.
That's exactly what you need.
Dylan Fowler comes through with a 2-run homer here, and your Bullard Panthers have answered back in the bottom of the third.
Whether we come back and we can win this game or not, the Panthers need some motivation to go in the rest of the series. That just might have sparked it right there.
Definitely did. Definitely sparked this crowd as they're on their feet and back into this game here a little bit. And that's going to bring up that's going to bring up Cage Karinik, who is still in the game hitting. He's been pulled from the mound as Coach Gates walks down to explain what's going on here with that change.
So I would assume Cage is going to stay in as the designated hitter.
I guess. I'm not really familiar with all of the current rules, but evidently that's possible as Karinik is batting here with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Takes the first pitch, curveball that catches the outside corner. No balls and a strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that is inside, evens the count at 1-1. 10-2 here is China Springs on top of this one in the third. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That is lifted into left field, and that's going to be playable for Clement, who makes the catch cap high. And that's going to do it for your Panthers here in the bottom of the third, but not before they get on the board with a 2-run homer by Dylan Fowler. So a little life here. Let's see if we can't carry this forward here in this game as your Panthers trail this one by 8.
Yeah, we might have a new pitcher too, because I'll find out when we come back.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Now pitching for the Panthers, number 20, Tate Wynn.
All right, Panther fans, we're back with here in the top of the 4th inning, and we have a pitching change because of Cage batting. Evan Downing came in, pitched 3 pitches. He's
This
done.
first pitch here is lifted into left field. It's hit well. It's carrying, and it's out of here. I'm telling you, there's a jet stream up there tonight as those flags are blowing straight out. China Springs leads this inning off with a solo homer by Jackson Fetters.
Yeah.
On the first pitch he sees from the new pitcher here, Tate Wynn. I'm sorry, yeah, Tate Wynn.
Yes, Tate.
I got to make sure I get my wins right.
Right fielder, number 3.
That's not great for the freshman pitcher, but hopefully he can battle back. Use this for experience.
That's going to bring up Hudson Brown. First pitch to him is swung on and lined into center field, and that's going to be a single. So China Spring is greeting Tate Wynn here pretty rudely. 2 pitches and 2 hits.
So the bad thing about that home run is it didn't allow Evan Downing to come and pitch anymore because of all the switching. Tough for getting his first playoff experience.
That's going to bring up Jacob Clement. First pitch to him is high for a ball. Again, that right. Probably just a really good opportunity for Coach Sherman to get somebody in there and get him a little experience.
Not the way you want to get your experience, but, Bullard does have some pitching depth.
That pitch is inside, and it's 3-0. And working out of the stretch. Here's the pitch. And that high. Runners at first and second here with nobody out. Again, already scoring 1 run in this inning on the solo homer by Fetters. We got a little mound visit here as Alderman and Dylan Fowler go out to talk to Wynn. Got a pinch hitter here.
Number 8, David Bell.
David Bell, who had come into the game at catcher, is batting here in this spot. First pitch to him is low for a ball.
Yeah, this is just one of those tough games. And now I'm sure Sherman's just getting some guys in there because you got to save your arms for later in the series.
Wynn sets. Here's the pitch. And that misses inside as Wynn is having trouble finding the strike zone here. Just needs to settle down. Giving up that homer on the first pitch, I think, has got him rattled a little bit.
Now back-to-back hits with first 2 pitches in playoff.
So 2 balls, no strikes. This pitch misses. No, it catches the outside corner. What I get for speaking early again. This umpire
very delayed.
has a little bit of a delayed call. That's on me. It's 2 balls and a strike to Bell. Fowler over at first, playing in front of the runner. Bell shows bunt, and he does bunt. Bunts it to Wynn, who's only plays the first, but his brother was slow getting over there to cover, and everybody's going to be safe.
Designated hitter number 9.
Fowler charged on the bunt, and
looked like just delayed reaction there from Tannen.
Tannen had there. And so China Spring has bases loaded here with nobody out.
That kid didn't show any signs of bunting, and then all of a sudden he bunts, and so I think he caught Tannen off guard.
That's going to bring up Jackson Knapp here with bases loaded. First pitch to him is swung on and fouled back.
It's 2 for 2. Yeah, this is just, you really want some just strikes. Get in there, throw strikes, see what happens.
And Annapolis hit a single and a double in this game. This pitch is swung on and belted down the left field line. It's hooking, and that's foul, thankfully, because he got all of that one.
Yeah, we haven't seen many home runs. I think 2 total in this park all year, and we've seen, what, 6 tonight? 4? It does. It does feel like there's been quite a few home runs tonight. Just long foul balls, long hit balls.
That pitch misses outside. One ball, one strike. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Again, your Panthers trailing this one 11-2. Here's the pitch from Wynn. And that's a breaking ball that misses wide. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Nowhere to put this guy.
There is some in there.
Tate sets. Here's the pitch. And that's low. And it's 3 balls and a strike.
I would call 3-2.
Correction, it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. So full count here. Here's the payoff pitch. Field, no doubter. That ball is over the bleachers, out in the parking lot, and that is a grand slam here for China Spring. Jackson Knapp just got all of that one.
Well, you knew he had the power because he put a foul ball over there. Just, you feel bad for the freshman right here, and it looks like Sherman's heading out there to take the ball from him. And you put a kid out there, you just wanting him to get some outs, save your bullpen, and just unfortunately.
China Spring celebrating here, and deservedly so. They lead this one now 15-2. So Coach Sherman on to make a pitching change.
Crew Korinek.
They got a change at catcher too, looks like. As Ty Whitehead is going to come out and catch Korinek. Yeah, when that pitch was hit, Foster in left field didn't even hardly move. He knew instantly it was gone. Again, if you've been to our park, you know there is a set of bleachers out there in left field. That ball cleared those bleachers and might have hit my Jeep that's parked out there. I'm not sure. That's about where I parked.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, but it definitely could have.
Man. So, you got to have Crew come in here and get some outs. Like, no matter what happens, you're playing the 3-game series, so you got to have somebody come in here and get some outs. It looks like Coach Sherman's making a bunch of changes right now. Okay, Jonah Hunter's heading to center. And I think this is more just let those guys get some at-bats. And just kind of,
yeah. Not a give-up move. This is just an opportunity move. It's an opportunity to get some guys on the field, get them some at-bats, like you say. The Panthers need to just work one out at a time here, one at-bat at a time. As your Panthers meet the infield meets at the mound, and they break it out. Again, nobody out here in the top of the 4th inning. That's going to bring up Garrett Maddox, the shortstop. First pitch to him is grounded to third. Rigsby has it. He's up with it. He throws across high, and that ball is going to be mishandled there as it was an errant throw. What should have been an out is going to turn into a base runner on the error by Ty Rigsby.
Yeah, pulled Fowler off the bag. He jumped up in the air and just bounced off his glove. So
Fowler was going to try to make the catch and swipe tag as he was pulled high off the bag, but he was not able to come up with the ball. And so China Spring starts off again here with another base runner. And that's going to turn over the lineup as Grayson Brooks is now up for the 4th time in this game. First pitch to him misses. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch from Korinek. That is high, and it's 2-0. So we've got 3 Koreneks on this team. This is the oldest brother. This pitch is swung on and drilled into left field. That's in there, and that's going to roll all the way to the wall. Foster is up with it. He brings it back in, but Brooks there with a no-out double as Maddock is going to go to 3rd on the play, and China Springs has runner at 2nd and 3rd again with nobody out. And the Panthers just need to stop the bleeding here.
Yeah, this is not the way you wanted this game to go, but again, you have to get something going because you're playing for the next few days, because I really think this is Crew's game to the end.
That's going to bring up Dean Hanna, who is 3 for 3 with 2 homers and a double. First pitch to him misses low for a ball. First base is open here. I don't know if Korenek's going to think about pitching around him at all. That ball is low. You don't have to give in to him here.
No. You know Hannah's thinking of a 3rd homer. I don't think they're going to try to let up at all.
This ball is swung on and lifted into right field. That's going to be playable for Korinek, who's under it. He makes the catch, throwing home as we have a great throw from Korinek. Bluff from the runner at 3rd as he knew better. Must have got the scouting report on Cage Korinek as Korinek threw a strike from right field all the way to home plate in the air to hold the runner. And there's 1 down.
So just kind of get everybody up to speed. You got Cage Korinek, who's now playing right field, came in for when Tate went into pitching. Jonah Hunter just came in. He's now the center fielder, and Ty Whitehead. Here's a drive out to center field.
This pitch is lifted into center field, and Korinek is over in the gap, and he makes the catch, comes up firing home again. A head-first slide as that throw was cut off. There's 2 down now, but China Spring scores their 16th run of the ballgame on that sac fly.
Second baseman, number 2.
At this point, I don't think runs matter. I think outs matter. You need to get those outs to keep away from your guys. And so looks like there's some other guys that are out there warming up. I think at this point, Sherman's just going to take some of his starters out, make sure nobody gets injured.
Going to bring up Jackson Fetters, who takes the first pitch in there for a called strike from Korinek. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and this ball is lifted down the right field line. It's going to fall in there and bounce off the wall as Korinek had a long way to go to get that one. And that's going to be a stand-up triple by Fetters. It's going to clear the bases. As China Spring is now up 17-2 in this game.
Right fielder, number 3.
Just after the stand-up triple.
Here's the pitch, and that's high.
So Ty Whitehead is the catcher. I think that's the only other. Jonah Hunter's out in center.
The 1-0 pitch is inside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. If you've not seen the elder Korinek throw, he throws a lot of off-speed. That's his game. This pitch is high and outside, 3 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, I think last year he was used as a almost kind of relief with David Wilson, who threw pretty fast, and he'd come in and change the pace guy.
Yep. Definitely was the way he was used. Came into the playoffs, was that 2 years ago against Canton, and shut them down. 3 balls, 1 strike. This pitch is swung on and lifted into left field. Again, it's carrying all the way back to the warning track, but Foster's there and he makes the catch. As that ball got up in the jet stream and definitely went further than Foster thought it was going to go, but he makes the catch, and that's going to do it for China Spring here in the top of the 4th. But the unfortunate pattern continues as China Spring scored 1 in the first, 4 in the second, 5 in the third, and now 7 runs in the 4th inning, and they lead this one 17-2.
All right, Panther fans, we are back. Pitcher for China Springs. He's still in the game. He's only pitched 47 pitches. You know, at this time, the thing Panthers got to do is get this guy where he's not an asset for the China Springs later.
Yeah, I really thought after that big inning there that they might think about pulling this guy, but Hinojosa comes back out here for the bottom of the 4th. And Holt is going to lead this one off. First pitch to him is fouled straight back, and he's quickly down in the count. No balls and a strike.
I think he was looking for something off speed there. He just...
Jackson Holt batting from the right side. Here's the pitch from Hinojosa, and that's a breaking ball in there for a called strike, and it's 0-2. Again, it's 17-2. Bottom of the 4th inning. Holt calls time at the plate. Steps out, steps back in. And here's the 0-2 pitch. And that ball is drilled into center field. That's going to be a leadoff single from Holt.
That's what you do. Just chip away. Force this coach's hand, you know.
That's going to bring up Ty Whitehead, who's now batting for Gage Alderman. Into the game last inning defensively. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch runner here for Holt.
I believe that's Colt Kane. Tucker Steinbach.
Tucker
Okay.
Steinbach now in the game, running at first.
Your attention, please. Now running at first base, number 17, Tucker Steinbach.
And if this is just a pinch runner, or if
I think it's a pinch runner,
or if he's going to stay in the game and play short, we'll see.
Now Ty Whitehead getting his first at bat.
Steinbach takes his lead at first. Here's the pitch to Whitehead. That is in there for a called strike. Whitehead batting from the right side.
I'm sorry, I had the commercials going. My bad.
Here's the pitch. Upstairs, evens the count at 1-1. Again, Hinojosa's pitch count fairly low. 52 pitches is where he sets. Check Steinbach at first. And here's the pitch. And Whitehead takes outside. 2 balls and a strike.
You know, I really want to see these young players who came in, they don't get many at-bats, to come in and do something. Just, you know, they're talented kids.
Here's the pitch. Outside. And it's 3-1. Is Whitehead being very patient, making him work. Again, just base runners, base runners, base runners. That's what the Panthers need.
Pitches, pitches, pitches.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. That ball is swung on and popped up on the infield. Maddox is over. Hefferkamp calls him off and makes the catch. And there's one down. And that's going to bring up Gage Korinek. No, not Gage Korinek. Who's batting here?
I don't know. Jonah Hunter looked like was about to bat, but now I think he's going to pinch it. Colin Brooks.
Okay.
So Colin Brooks, man, this is his first bat. Actually, no. Colin Brooks is in the on-deck circle.
Okay,
The pitcher, number 12.
we got Crew Korinek batting here in the spot that was originally
Tate Wynn?
Tate Wynn spot.
All right.
And yeah, Colin Brooks has stepped into the on-deck circle here. First pitch to Korinek is taken for a called strike. Again, one out. We got one on. As Tucker Stainback is running at first for Jackson Holt, who singled. This pitch catches the outside corner, and it's no balls and 2 strikes.
You know, you might not think it, but Crew can deceptively swing the bat, man. He's come in and got some good pinch hit this year.
Here's the pitch. That's outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 17-2. China Spring leads this one. Here in the bottom of the 4th. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. And Korinek strikes out for the 2nd out of the inning. And that's going to bring up Colin Brooks.
So, yeah, Colin,
Your attention, please.
he played JV. I mean, he's a great ball player. There's a log jam at first base. He's a sophomore. He actually hit a grand slam out of Rusk, the first home run the Bullard Panthers hit this year. So, the kid's got some pop.
He's a big kid. Brooks bats from the left side. Steps in here with 2 outs and 1 on. Hinojosa checks the runner at first. Here's the pitch. And that is high and outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
I just feel like if this pitcher just leaves something up, he hangs something, Colin could actually make him pay right here.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. And it's 1-1.
Just keeping it outside. I think if he comes inside, Colin is definitely a pull hitter.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is high and outside. Brooks thought about calling time, tried to call time, but waited too late, and the home plate umpire didn't give it to him. Luckily, that was a ball.
Way
2
outside.
balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch, swung on a miss, and it's 2-2. As I believe Luke Alexander has come on to the on-deck circle. Hopefully get him a chance to swing the stick here this inning. Here's the pitch, swung on, that's drilled into center field. That ball's hit pretty well. Bowers is on the run, and he tracks it down, makes the catch over the shoulder, and that's going to do it for your Panthers here in the bottom of the 4th. Colin Brooks put a charge into that one, but Bowers made a great play out there to end the threat. So after 4 complete, your Panthers trail this one 17-2.
Panther fans, we're back. We're just kind of going through like the defensive changes that the Panthers have made. Coach Sherman has emptied his bench. So just kind of going through here. Look, we got Colt Kane over playing third base. Alex Hammond is out there playing left field. So the umpire, I guess it was ready, and so everybody's ready. Luke Alexander's at second, and I believe that's Cord Korinek, the younger of the Korinek boys, playing short. And I believe that's all the changes. Jonah Hunter still at center.
First pitch is swung on and lifted into center field. Hunter is back a few steps, and he makes the catch. And quickly, there's one pitch, one out. We'll try to make sure we have everybody correct on the field as we've had wholesale changes here.
Actually, so Jonah Hunter shifted from center field to right field, and Tucker Steinbach stayed in the game after the pinch running.
Okay, so that was Steinbach that just made that play in center.
That pitch is outside for ball.
It's
Hafferkamp.
This is number 8. This is a pinch hitter here. Bell, that's right, Bell.
Okay.
Pitch to Bell is swung on and lifted high in the air. Cord Korinek is under it. He makes the call. He makes the catch. And there's 2 outs.
So, yeah, just kind of now that we got it set, Alex Hammond in left, Tucker Steinbach in center, Jonah Hunter in right, Colt Kane in third, Cord Korinek at short, Luke Alexander at second, Dylan Fowler still at first, Ty Whitehead catching, and Crew Korinek is the pitcher.
And Jackson Knapp is hitting for China Spring. First pitch to him is low, ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that catches the outside corner, and it's 1-1. You know, I don't know how many games across the state that you have 3 brothers playing the same game. That's pretty cool, though. It's unfortunate they weren't all 3 on the field at the same time. That pitch is swung on and drilled foul out of play. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I guess that went into the bullpen, hopefully. Looks like they're heading to the bullpen to get it.
That pitch, a breaking ball, just missed, as that was a good pitch by Korinek. Tried the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. And that's in there, called strike.
Yes, sir.
And that's going to do it quickly here for China Spring in the top of the 5th. And finally, your Bullard Panthers throw up a 0 on the board as they shut China Spring down there in that half of the inning. So after 4.5, again, your Panthers trail this one 17-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching for China Spring, number 23, Ryan Hale.
Panther fans, we are back. We do have a new pitcher for China Springs. Hell, what's his name?
Ryan Hell.
Ryan Hell. So just kind of watching. So China Springs that pitcher, he did well, stunned, but I believe Panthers have to put 6 across in this bottom half. Otherwise, that's going to be it for this game. So,
leading off here is Luke Alexander, who came in and is now playing second base. First pitch to Alexander is spiked in the dirt, low, ball 1.
Yeah, I was watching Hill warm up. He spiked a few of his warm-up pitches. So
Alexander batting from the right side. Here's the pitch. That is swung on and fouled straight back. Evens the count at 1-1.
I think this kid is just go out there and throws it really hard and try to throw it over the plate.
I'm sure his coach has told him just throw strikes in this game. Make them hit it. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is high, and it's 2-1.
You know, right now I just think these guys who don't normally get at bats, they're getting their first playoff experience. They gotta give them some excitement to go into game 2.
Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that is outside. As Hill looks like he's actually just trying to overthrow out there. Throws pretty hard. Well, the count is 3-1 to Luke Alexander. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and that's high and outside. And Alexander draws the walk.
Looks like Colt Kane coming up.
Third baseman,
Number 6, Colt Kane.
So he was a defensive substitution for Rigsby. He's getting his first, that was his first playoff bat. So.
Well, based upon what we saw with Alexander, he just needs to be patient here, as that ball is in the dirt. First pitch to Kane is low, ball 1.
Third baseman is going to go over there and tell him, like, hey, listen, look at the scoreboard. You don't have to overpitch this game. So
definitely looks like he's trying to overthrow. Again, these young Bullard hitters just need to be patient here and make him come to them. Make him throw strikes. At this point, we don't mind sitting here in a walk fest. Here's the pitch. That's in there for a called strike.
Yeah, we're in Aggie country. The crowd might start doing the ball 5, ball 6 chant.
Alexander takes his lead at first. Hale sits at the belt. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Kane swung at a fastball that was inside. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So Cole Kane, part of that freshman team, man, that freshman team was really solid this year. So
here's the pitch, breaking ball high, and that evens the count at 2-2. We got an update out of Arlington. I know you'll be happy to hear this. The Rangers have just took a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th. As we got a pitcher's duel going on in Arlington.
All right, well, let's go Astros. You can come back from that.
The 2-2 pitch misses outside, and the count runs full.
So we're both pulling for the Panthers, but we differ there in Arlington.
Let's go Rangers. Going for win number 5 or 6 in a row. I don't remember. They've been hot, I know that.
Now changed their pitching coach, and their bats have woke up.
The full count pitch, and this is low and outside, and it's back-to-back walks here for the Panthers. And that's gonna bring the coach out of the dugout, and he wants to talk to his pitcher here and basically probably tell him, look, the only way we can get in trouble here probably is by giving guys free passes.
Yeah.
You know,
if anything, just throw it up there and let them hit, because
you got a defense behind you. Yeah.
So now this, Alex Hammond stepping in and looking at him. You might not know this, but if you go to the weight room, Alex Hammond, I've heard, is the strongest kid in the weight room for the baseball team.
I can believe that.
So rumor has it that he throws up the most weight on the bench press.
I definitely can believe that. You know, in 8th grade, Hammond played linebacker, and he was a very good linebacker. Did not mind coming downhill hitting folks.
Well, maybe you can come across the middle and hit that ball right over that left field fence, because there's a nice little jet stream tonight.
All right, so the Panthers have 2 on here, nobody out. Again, trailing this one 17-2 here in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch to Hammond is low.
I tell him just sit there and don't swing your bat until you get a strike.
Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that's swung on and fouled over at the China Spring dugout. Yeah, nice play by the coach there as he springs off of his chair, his bucket, whatever he's sitting on there, and makes the play. Gets that back in the infield. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hale sets at the belt. Here's the pitch. That's low. 2 balls and a strike. I don't know anything about Hale, and I don't know how many times he's pitched here, or if they've just brought him into this game because it's lopsided and they're trying to get him some work. I don't know, but he's struggling right now. Here's the 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed. That evens the count at 2-2.
I think he went fishing there.
Yeah.
You don't want,
definitely swung at ball 3.
you don't want to help him out.
But you know these young guys want nothing more than to hit the ball, put it in play, get a single, get a double, something. This pitch is outside.
It's hard.
And it's a full count.
Hard to come off the bench when you haven't gotten many at bats this year and settle for a walk. But you know that'd be great right now.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Again, runners at first and second here in the bottom of the 5th.
Especially with Fowler on deck.
Yeah, Fowler, who's already hit 1 out tonight. It'd be nice for him to come up with the bases loaded. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swung on a miss. He struck him out. And there's the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Dylan Fowler.
First baseman, number 15, Dylan Fowler.
With Jonah Hunter now in the on-deck circle.
2 guys who can swing the bat. Jonah's had a some good at bats this year. I also saw Jonah Hunter was named captain for the football team this coming season.
Saw that too. First pitch to Fowler's outside, ball 1.
Walked by and pat him on the back and said congratulations. Great honor for that kid. He's such a great kid.
The football team named Jonah Hunter, Micah Skaggs, J.P. Gardner, and Will Scroggins as captains for next year. Runners on the move. Here's the pitch. It's low. The throw to third is not in time, as Luke Alexander swipes third base.
Yeah. I don't know. Colt didn't move on that one, so I don't know if that was a.
I'm guessing Luke just saw the opportunity and took it. I'm sure Sherman's not giving the steal sign down here, down 15 runs. 2 balls, no strikes. That pitch is outside, and it's 3-0 to Fowler.
They got any movement in their bullpen down there?
Here's the 3-0 pitch. Catches the outside corner, and it's 3-1.
You knew Fowler was not going to swing. Such a disciplined batter.
Yeah, no reason to swing 3-0 there. He's 3-1. He's pretty much in the same position. He's got to throw a strike. Here's the pitch. That's outside. He draws the walk. Bases are loaded for Jonah Hunter. here with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. And China Spring coach has seen enough as Hale has walked the bases loaded. And he does go to his bullpen here, so we'll have a pitching change. Again, here we're in the bottom of the 5th. Your Panthers trail this one 17-2.
All right, we'll take a little break, and we'll let you know about the changes when we come back.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching for China Spring, number 22, Ryan Uwalda.
Here back, and Jonah Hunter stepping in to face the new pitcher.
Ryan Uwalda is the pitcher's name.
Is it U or Bu?
Uwalda? Uwalda. All right, bases loaded here for Jonah Hunter with 1 out. Here's the pitch, and that's low. Ball 1.
He spiked that first pitch too.
So the Panthers have a good opportunity here to try to force another inning.
The first baseman came over and said, listen, just throw strikes.
Quit trying to throw it 100 miles an hour and throw a strike.
I mean, Panthers need 6 runs at least this inning to extend the game.
Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that's in the dirt. 2-0, as all of a sudden, China Springs can't find the strike zone. Hey, you know we're down 15, but baseball is a crazy game. You never know what can happen.
You know, this is going to motivate these, especially if these guys off the bench can get something going, get a rally going. That's just going to push into the just excitement, because this is a great team club and where they want to cheer for each other.
The 2-0 pitch misses downstairs, and Jonah Hunter is ahead 3-0. Here's the pitch. It's in there for a called strike. You know, it's the beauty of baseball is there's no clock. You can't run the clock out. You got to get all the outs. And so as long as you're still playing, anything can happen. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That's outside. And China Spring has walked in a run here as Luke Alexander throws across and scores the 3rd run of the game for the Panthers. Again,
Hey, don't quit on them.
Tucker State.
First plate appearance tonight.
Here's the pitch. Inside. Ball one.
Hey, we did get some inside information about tennis earlier that we'll, after this batter, we'll have to call it out.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's swung on, drilled in the left field. That's a single. One run is in, and it's misplayed. And Coach Sherman is going to send Fowler around third. He's going to score. Jonah Hunter tried to stretch that to third. Is going to be thrown out for the second out of the inning. But the Panthers score a couple of runs here. It is now 17-5.
Yeah, and Steinbach advanced to second on that throw.
Nice single by Steinbach there.
Yeah, two RBIs.
And the Panthers were going to be satisfied to go station to station there until the left fielder mishandled that.
Ty Whitehead.
Ty Whitehead at the plate.
Second at bat. I think he's 0 for 1. So in state today, we had a team. What's their name? Team Logan.
Logan Brooks and Logan Wilson.
That's low.
2 balls, no strikes to Whitehead.
So they played in the quarterfinals in their state doubles, mixed doubles, and the manager goes out. But they played in a quarterfinals match today. They won that, and so in the morning they're playing their semifinals match for mixed doubles state championship. So congratulations to them and good luck tomorrow.
Good luck to Team Logan and Coach Wills down there. Hopefully they can keep rolling.
I know our tennis team, they had a great district tournament.
What a heck of a year. All right, 2 balls, no strikes here after the mound visit to Whitehead. Steinbach takes his lead off second. Here's the pitch. That misses low. It's 3 balls and no strikes. And kudos to this umpire for not really expanding his zone here in a blowout. That was a close pitch, but missed low. Here's the 3-0 pitch. That catches the inside corner and it's 3-1.
You know, Coach, I'm thinking ahead for game 2. You know, you got Ethan Foster that's coming out. He's going to be on the mound.
Here's the pitch. That's downstairs, misses low. Just kind of scoots by the catcher, but not far enough for Steinbach to think about chancing it. And Whitehead draws the walk. And again, the Panthers have runners at first and second.
Your attention, please. Now running at first base for the Panthers, number 34, Gavin Skaggs.
Gavin Skaggs is going to make an appearance here as he is now running for Whitehead. I don't know how many guys are left on the bench, but most of the Panthers have been in this game.
Crew Korenick, the pitcher.
That ball spikes, bounces in front of the plate. Ball 1. Coach, he's making a change right here. He's not going to watch any more of this. He's making his second mound visit here in about 2 pitches. So he's decided he needs somebody that can put the ball across the plate.
All right. Well, hey, Coach, let's stay right here and just kind of, you know, Panthers have runners on first and second. But I just want to talk to you about game 2, you know, and just with your coaching experience. You know, you've had games where they didn't go your way and come out. You got another game. You got next week. I mean, you play college baseball. I'm sure you've been in games like this as a player. As a coach, you've been in games where nothing goes right. But what do you tell your boys to go get them ready for the next game?
You just have to have a short memory. You just tell them to flush it, and it's over, and it's time to refocus. You know, I mean, they're here for a reason. This team is a good baseball team. And the worst thing that they can do is to think in any way that, oh, China Spring has any kind of advantage over them just because of what happened here today. Again, it's one game. Baseball is baseball. Every team is going to have these games. So it's just time to refocus and go out. And you can't think about game 3. All you can think about is game 2 and going out and winning game 2.
Game 2, they're going to have Ethan Foster, and if you've seen Ethan Foster pitch this year, he's got good stuff. He's a lefty, and so I think he has the opportunity to really silence these bats. Obviously, China Springs can hit, so if Ethan Foster can come out and just silence these bats, and Panthers can push across some runs and get a win, I mean, you never know what happens, because then you got Jackson Holt, who possibly just one of the strongest arms. I mean, he just slings it in there, you know, so you never know.
That's right. You force a game 3, anything can happen. All right, again, 2 outs here, bottom of the 5th, runners at first and second. The first pitch is grounded to short. That's going to be playable. He comes up with it, throws across, short hops in time. It's dug out by the first baseman, Dean there, and that's going to do it for this ball game, as your Panthers are going to drop game 1 here 17-5. But again, you know, we can harp on the negatives, but really the biggest negative is just that China Springs came out and they tattooed the baseball tonight.
Yeah, just, you know, Cage, and especially in that one inning, the third inning, it's like he needed a short inning. He got 2 quick outs, and then next thing you know, they put 5 runs up. And
yep. For the advantage of the long ball. I mean, they did hit the ball. They hit it hard, and I think that they definitely, I don't want to take anything away from China Springs. They hit the ball well. It's definitely carrying. So, again, I know Coach Sherman is going to meet with his guys here, and the message just has to be, look, guys, one, I'm glad that so many of you guys got in this game and you got some experience. But 2, when you get to your cars, I want you to forget about this game.
Yeah.
You just have to go home and not think about this game. It's over.
Yeah. You know, they've got to practice tomorrow. That's right on this. You can go home and forget about it. But you know what? Let's go to their house and last year.
Correct.
And they came here and took 2 games from us. We now have the opportunity to replicate what you know, he hasn't, I think that might have been his first pitching since, at least since district started.
Okay.
And, man, that kid came out, and when they needed somebody to get some outs, and he came in, and you could tell he got those outs and stuff. So I just want to give him a shout out. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even talk with you, but he's definitely, I'm going to just give him the player of the game today. You know, maybe that shot by Fowler was definitely the all-state play of the game. But, man, I want to just talk for a long time, senior.